Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make babycorp from the movie and the Netflix series Boss Baby. All I ask is if you enjoy this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that, I honestly would. And if you would like to make more things related to Boss Baby, I have also made Boss Baby's actual house, and I have also made the tree house in the back garden. I'll be leaving links to both of those in the card system and the description below, amongst some other stuff that I think that you guys might really enjoy. I just fell into this hole in the ground. We should probably start this tutorial before we sink any lower. So before we begin, I should let you know that this build requires a 36 block by an 18 block area. 36 blocks wide left to right and 18 blocks long front to back. You might want to make this grid in your world, it might help you out if you do so. You will also need all of these materials that I have in my inventory / hotbar right now. Pause the video if necessary. I want you guys to be prepared before we begin. Pause the video if necessary, grab what you need, make sure you got enough space, and then we can begin. So let's say that you yourself have made this grid in your world. I'm going to begin on the front left hand corner of the grid. Right here, this corner block on the front left. And I want to count right of this block by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I want to count inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we will actually make babycorp. This is the beginning. So start off by placing a light grey concrete in that spot. Then from that light grey concrete, do an up left diagonal and place one on top. Then place an up left diagonal light grey concrete and place 4 on top. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then do an up right diagonal and place 1 on top. Then do 2 up right diagonals. 1, 2. Then place 2 on top. 1, 2. Do 2 up left diagonals. 1, 2. Then go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. Do an up right diagonal and go up by 1. Do 3 up right diagonals. 1, 2, 3. Then go right 1. Do an up right diagonal and go right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do a bottom right diagonal and go right 1. Do 3 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2, 3. And go down 1. Do a bottom right diagonal and go down by 3. 1, 2, 3. Do 2 bottom left diagonals. 1, 2. And go down by 2. 1, 2. Do 2 bottom right diagonals. 1, 2. And go down by 1. And do a bottom right diagonal and go down by 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then do a bottom left diagonal, go down by 1, and connect down to the ground by doing a bottom left diagonal. And that will give us a shape that should look very much like this. It kind of looks like the number 8. Well, once you have done this, that's a hard part of this actually complete, believe it or not. So what we want to begin by doing is, if we come all the way down to the very first block that we placed, right? We want to, from this block, we want to, in front of it, And to the right of it, we want to place a light grey concrete. And what we want to do is we want to go all the way around the inside of the shape that we've just made, and it wants to look like this. So for instance, we have this block, and we want to trace around the inside of the shape that we have just made, and we want the blocks to connect at the corners. So we are taking that exact same shape that we've just made, and we are one row in front of it, essentially, and we are just going to now be one row inside of it. So just going all the way around the inside, there really isn't too much more to it. We want to just trace along the inside of the shape. This really doesn't require any sort of calculating or figuring out or discombobulating or any more of the 8ing words. We just want to go around the inside of the shape, and that is all there is to it. And once you've kind of got the gist of it, once you've kind of got with the flow of it, you can actually do it quite fast. But I'm going to stick to doing it rather slow, this first layer. I don't really want to, I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to kind of get ahead of myself. I just want to have a shape which should look like this. So as you can see, it's pretty much the exact same thing, except as I described, it's one row inside, yet one row towards us. It connects all together at the corners, and that's pretty much that. Okay, so let me show you what you have to do next. You want to make your way to the middle of the build, where we have these long rows of light grey. Well, what you want to do is you want to take the middle light grey, which should be easy to find. You'll have 2 blocks above it and 2 blocks below it. And you want to extend that light grey inwards by 1. And also up 1. And also down 1. Just like that. And not only do you want to do this on this side of the build, but also the right side of the build. So once again, you locate the middle block, and it'll have 2 above and 2 below it, and you extend it inwards by 1, and up 1, and down 1, like this. And then here's where things get a little bit trickier, is the fact that we want to then take the middle blocks that we've just placed, the middle blocks in the rows of 3, it's got 1 above and below, and you want to place a block that is in front of the block, yet to the right of the block, like this. So in this position. And this block of light grey concrete wants to become a row by connecting to the right hand side, like this. So what we're almost left with is kind of like an hourglass, but that is the shape that we want to have, ladies and gentlemen. So once you have got that taken care of, we can move on to the next part. So the next part is this, and we're going to do it in 2 different parts. So now we are separating the lower part and the upper part, and we're coming down below. So down here, we want to come all the way down to this very bottom light grey block. This one right here. And we want to, in front of this block and to the right of this block, place a light grey concrete. And basically, we want to take this block and we want to extend it up and around the inside of the bottom of babycorp. So what we've essentially done one time already, we just want to do again. It should be as simple as that. Even when you get up to the top here, you just want to still treat it as its very own space, and you just want to do the exact same thing that you've done before. Go all the way around the inside of the build, connect it together at the corners, and you should end up with a slowly shrinking shape like this. And this is by far the easiest way to do things. Now, once you have done that, we actually want to do this 2 additional times. So once again, we'll come down here all the way at the bottom, and we'll take the block in front of this, yet to the right of it. We'll place a light grey concrete, and we will do the exact same thing that we've been doing for all this time. And you can even speed it up a little bit if you'd like. You don't have to take your time so much anymore. You can speed it up a little bit and get this done a little bit faster. I'm sure that you guys are quite familiar with the technique now. And not only do we want to do this once, but we will be doing it again. So that is the second to last layer that we have placed. Once you've done that, we want to do this actually, we're going to be doing this 2 more times. I do apologize, we'll do this 2 more times. So once again, we want to come down to this block right here. And in front, yet to the right, we want to place a light grey. And from that light grey, we will slowly begin to alter the shape that we have at the bottom of babycorp. And we will slowly bring it towards us and mold it into a much better copy of what babycorp is. So that is the second to last layer. We're going to do this 1 more time. However, this layer is a little bit different. This layer, we want to fill in the entire empty space. So what kind of looks like a mushroom or something now, or an arrow, we want to fill in all of the empty space, yet 1 row in front of the empty space, if that makes sense. So you take all of the empty space that you have, and you just want to fill it in with a layer of light grey concrete like this, and you just want to make sure that you don't have any gaps. So that is the bottom of babycorp. As a matter of fact, the only gap that you might want is where the entrance will be. So if you want an entrance, I'm going to place it right dead center in the bottom of babycorp. And it's just a double door made out of iron doors, and that's all there is to it. There's really nothing else. Now that is the lower part of babycorp complete. Why don't we move up a little bit? Because once you've done that part, we can move all the way up to the top here, and we can do the same sort of thing, right? We can kind of do the exact same sort of deal. So all the way up at the top here, we want to begin by placing a row of light grey concrete on top of this row. Like this. So on top of this long row, we place a row of light grey. And then naturally, we just want to extend up this left end. And then we can do the same thing that we did down below. So now we can actually go all the way around the inside of the top of the shape at babycorp. And once again, we can slowly mold it into a shape which looks a lot more akin to the actual original babycorp. So you just begin with a row of light grey concrete just on top of that middle part, because it would have had to have been placed there anyway, regardless of where you would have been, where you would have started. And we just want to have this. And then you can begin anywhere with this next row, guys. Absolutely anywhere. You want to just place... Actually, you know what? This row, we want to completely fill in the empty space that we have up at the top of babycorp. So all of the empty space just wants to be filled in with a row of light grey concrete. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Just make sure that there is absolutely no empty space left at the top here. I'm going to fill that in. Just make sure that there is no empty space left all the way up at the top here. And then we can do the same thing on the back. So we just fill in all that empty space. That is a good starting point. That is pretty much the front of babycorp complete. Now we have to move it backwards and shape the back as well. So once you've reached this point, come to the back of the build. We now want to take... Doesn't it look impressive from the inside? We now want to take all of the outer blocks, all of the outer light grey concretes, and we want to extend them backwards by 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of the blocks want to come as far back as this, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely every single one of them. So I am going to work on extending all of these blocks backwards, and I will be back once I have done that. And once you are finished, not only will you be a little bit older, but because it takes so long, but you should have something that should look exactly like this. Now, once you have that taken care of, ladies and gentlemen, once you've extended all of those blocks backwards, we now have to give the back the same treatment that we gave the front. So if we come all the way down to the very bottom left-hand side of the back of babycorp, specifically looking for this lonely block right here, we want to, in front of this block, yet to the right of this block, place a light grey concrete. And from this concrete, we want to move up and around the inside of babycorp to once again shrink the shape of babycorp down and give it that look that will make it a lot more recognizable than if we would have just made it flat. So once again, all the way around the inside, we just want to, and this is all the way around the inside. On the front, we got to the point where we separated the top and the bottom. We're not quite there yet with the back, but I'm sure that you guys get the gist of what we're doing by now, considering the fact that we're literally over halfway done with the actual building itself. So I'm sure that you are more than capable of getting this done without too many problems. And once we have made our way all the way down to the ground, which we cannot be that far off, we'll take a look at what we've done, make sure it's right, and then move on to the next part. So, we should have something which should look exactly like this. This is what we want to have. Now, once you have shrank that shape down once, we now want to make our way to the middle of the build once more. And we want to locate the block on the left middle of the build, which is this one. It has two above and two below. And extend it inwards, and up, and down, and do the same on the other side. So we take this middle block, two above, two below, extend it inwards, up, and down, like that. We then want to take the middle block, and we want to extend it like towards us, yet to the right, like this. And it just wants to connect diagonally. Extend that single block all the way over to the right until it connects in the same manner as it does in the left. And it should look like a little hourglass sort of shape, or kind of like those chambered peanuts. I think they're called like monkey nuts or something. Anyway, that's what we want to have so far. The next order of business is going to be for us to shape the bottom of babycorp. So if we come all the way down to the bottom and we take this light grey concrete block, we want to one block in front, yet one block to the right, we want to begin by placing a light grey concrete. And that light grey concrete is going to go on a magical journey all the way around the inside of the bottle. So staying within the limits of the lower part of babycorp, and I call it a bottle by the way because it is essentially kind of like a baby bottle. You know, Boss Baby is like a big giant baby bottle. And we want to just trace along the inside of the shape as we have done many times already now. I bet you guys are experts at this by now. And once you've done, you should end up with a shape that should look exactly like that. It's kind of a weird shape actually, but hey, there you go. Now, once you yourself have done that, we want to do this again. So we come all the way down to this block, and one block in front, yet one block to the right. We want to place a light grey, and we want to create a row of light grey concrete that once again goes all the way around the inside of the bottom of the shape. Kind of just snakes around. I kind of imagine myself playing that really old game, Snake, whilst doing this. You know where it's just like that white line that has to go around and collect those apples, and it slowly becomes longer and longer until eventually it's unmanageable? That's what I'm imagining playing whilst playing this. Whilst doing this, rather. So once again, we have done that one more time, and we have shrank the shape down one more time. And once you have done that, we have to do this. I'm going to get this right this time. I'm sure it's 2 more times. So if we start down at this block again and in front, yet to the right, we want to place a light grey concrete. And that row of light grey concrete wants to go all the way around the inside of the shape that we've done. I'm a little bit tired of saying that, to be honest with you. I keep feeling like I'm saying the same things, but this entire build is a lot of repetition, unfortunately, but it is what it is. That's why it looks the way that it does, because of how it's been made. And once you have this shape remaining, we can move on to the last part. The last part is for us to use light grey concrete to fill in the entire shape that is left, yet the light grey concrete wants to be positioned one row in front of it. So fill in the entire space, but one row towards you, and it will give you a very nice shape. Once we've done it, it will look exactly like this. So that is the bottom of babycorp. Why don't we make our way up to the top, which requires a lot less work? So now we want to make our way up to the top, and we want to begin by placing a row of light grey concrete on top of the middle of the concrete, like this. You then want to take this left block of light grey concrete and we want to extend it up and inwards all the way around the inside of the upper part of the bottle. I'm getting to that point where I'm just about to say the exact same thing again, so I'm going to stop myself. But you guys get the idea. All the way around, just like this. As a matter of fact, this is the last time that you'll actually have to do this particular function in which you go all the way around the inside of something just to shape it, like this. Because once you have reached this shape right here, ladies and gentlemen, we can then fill in this entire shape with a row of light grey concrete that is one row in front and just basically there to cover the big giant empty gap that is left at the top of the bottle. So simply fill it in with your light grey concrete, just one row towards you, and you only want to fill in the empty spaces, and you should be left with a shape that should look a little bit like this. So that is what you want to have. And once you have successfully done that, you should have something that kind of reminds me of a pear. So without the stalk. So that's what you want to have so far. That's a massive build. Well done. That's a big massive part of the build complete. Once you've done that, we want to work our way up to the top of babycorp. All the way up to the top, right? And we want to find the... what's the easiest way to do this? Find the front left-hand corner at the top of babycorp. So this block right here. And count to the right of this by 2. 1, 2. And then count inwards by 1. Place a grey concrete and place a grey concrete to the right. Extend these two grey concretes inwards by 1. And then left 1 and right 1. And then extend the grey inwards by an additional 3 rows. 1, 2, and then you want to take the 2 middle blocks right here, and you want to extend these. Actually, let's add another row of dark grey because we need one, like that, and then take the 2 middle blocks and extend them backwards. So what you should end up with should look exactly like this. That's perfect. And then we want to place... We want to basically take the middle shape that we have here. We want to ignore these 2 grey blocks on the front and the back, and we want to extend the middle part of this up by 1 row, like this. And also these 4 middle blocks too. Just like that. Then place on the 4 middle blocks that we just filled in last, light grey concrete, like that. And then add another row of light grey concrete on top. And then we want to add yet another row, 1 more. And then we want to extend that last row to the right by 1 and to the left by 1, like that. Place another row of light grey concrete on top of this. And then extend that light grey to the left one and also the right one. We then want to take the 4 middle blocks of your light grey concrete and extend them upwards by 1 row. And then once again take the 4 middle blocks and extend them upwards by an additional row. And then place grey concrete on top of everything that you've just made. So all in all, we should have a shape which should look exactly like this. What we then want to do is you want to take the middle block on the very left hand side, right? This middle block, and you want to move to the right of it by 1 and place a light grey, and then 3 more, 1, 2, 3. Then take these 2 middle blocks and extend them down by 1 each, and up by 1 each, and take those 2 middle blocks again and extend them towards you. It's kind of like a weird shape, but that's exactly what we're after. Now, once you have that, we want to come to the back and we want to do the same thing, right? So on the back, we want to take not the left block, but this one and place a light grey, and then 3 more, 1, 2, and 3. And we want to take the 2 middle blocks and extend them up and down and towards us. So that's the shape that we've made, and that is the top of the bottle. And once you've done that, we should have quite a cool effect. It should look quite good. It should look exactly like this. Now, this next part is once again kind of tedious, but very, very necessary. We're now going to make the play cubes on the side of babycorp. So grab your grey concrete and move your way to the bottom lower half of the front of babycorp. We're looking for this block right here. So just to zoom out, we're like on the left side, towards the lower middle, and we want this block. Place a grey concrete to the left of this block, and then 2 grey concrete to in front of it. 1, 2. Connect that second block down to the ground, just like this. So connect it all the way down to the ground. You then want to take the block that hit the ground and extend it left by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And extend that 7th block upwards until it is as high as the start of the grey concrete. So it's as high as that point, and then we can connect it backwards like this. So we can connect it all the way backwards like that. But what we also want to do is we want to take the back corners of this and we want to extend them backwards also by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then those blocks want to be extended across like this and connected to the other corners. We are simply making cubes. And then you want to extend the corners upwards like this and connect them to the corners at the top. And you want to basically just create a nice big cube. Once you've made the front, everything else becomes rather easy, like that. We then want to make another cube. If you begin, it's kind of near where we started this. If you begin in the corner at the top front right hand corner of the cube that you've made, if you place a light grey concrete inside of this corner, and then you place a grey concrete on top, extend the grey concrete upwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to extend it left 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's the important part done, because we can now extend it down and we can connect it to where we first started, and we know that that is a cube or a square. But we can turn it into a cube by taking any one of the back corners and extending them back by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to extend it across and forwards, and this time we can extend the corners upwards as well, and you can connect them to the front of the cube. I'm doing this a little bit fast, guys, but really all of this counting and stuff isn't necessary for this particular part of the tutorial. So just like this. And now we have 2 empty cubes, but unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately because I don't like making these cubes, we want to do the same thing on the opposite side. So come to the opposite side of babycorp, and you're looking for the same thing, so the same block to make the same thing. We're looking for this light grey concrete block, and I'm sure that you guys will be able to find it no problem, but just to zoom out a bit, this one. Place a grey concrete to the right of it, and extend the grey forwards by 2. 1, 2. Make that grey block hit the floor. Then take that grey block that hits the floor and go right of it by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What we can now do is extend that 7th block upwards and across because we know the length of the rows. And then we can take any one of the corners, except that one, and extend them backwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can extend this across to the right, and then we can connect it to the front. And we can take these corners up, and we can connect them to the front. And we can take all of the corners across, and we can connect them down and to the front. So again, I mean, I'm sure that you guys will be able to do that. I did that a little bit fast, but I'm sure that you guys are very familiar with making cubes. Now, once you have made that cube, we can move on to the next part. So the next part is, of course, making yet another cube. Hilarious fun. Grab light grey concrete, and in the front left-hand corner of the top of the cube, place a light grey concrete. And on top of this concrete, we're going to place a grey concrete. And we're going to go right of it by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to move backwards by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to move across and move forwards until we have a square shape like this. And then you can take pretty much any one of the 4 corners and extend them up by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you can extend the 7th block across and down and back and down and across and down and also forwards as well. And what you will end up with is this. So now you can see we now have our 4 cubes. So these cubes are a little bit special in that we are going to do little bits of pixel art in them. These aren't required. You don't have to fill them in with anything fun. You can absolutely kill the joy if you want to. Get rid of the iron doors, grab orange concrete. So if you want, by the way, you can fill all 4 sides of the cubes in with something. I'm just doing the front because it's very, very tedious. Okay, so this bottom left-hand cube, the front of it is where we're going to begin. If you start in the bottom left-hand corner of the cube, which is here, we're going to place a light grey concrete. And as a matter of fact, you can place a light grey concrete inside each one of the 4 corners of the cube, like this. And then we want to take the bottom left corner concrete, and we want to place a light blue to the right of it. And then a white to the right of that. And then a white to the right of that. However, we also want to take the first white and go up, left, up by 2, 1, 2, right, up, right. And we just fill all of this in using light blue concrete like this. And that is just supposed to be kind of like a moon in a night sky. A semi-night sky. I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of light, but sometimes you can see the moon during the day, so, science. Above this, we're going to do a happy face. We want to place a light grey concrete in each one of the 4 corners of the front of the cube. Like that. And then we want to connect them all together with a row of yellow concrete. So, going all the way around the inside of this, place a row of yellow concrete connecting the corners together. And then if we start at the bottom left hand corner, we're going to place a yellow concrete and right of it 2 black, 1, 2, then a yellow. On top of the black, place yellow, and on top of the yellow, place black. Then on top of those last 2 black concretes, place a yellow, followed by a black, and fill the center of it in using yellow concrete, like this. And there you have a nice smiley happy face. Once you've done that, we want to work our way to the right hand side. So the right hand side here, once again lots of fun. We want to begin with the lower cube. We're on the front and you want to begin in the bottom left hand corner. Place a light grey concrete and also one on top. Then place a yellow and extend the yellow to the right one, down, right 2, 1, 2, up 1, right 1. Place an orange on top and an orange to the right. Take the original orange and place a yellow and 2 going left, 1, 2. Place 1 down and left, like that. We're going to fill the duck in with yellow. This is a duck, by the way, a little baby duckling. And we are going to fill the rest of it in using light grey concrete. So, just like that. Then, we are going to take this final one, and we're going to begin once again in the bottom left-hand corner. We'll place a light grey, 1 to the right, 2 red going right, and then 1 on top, right, up by 2, left 1, place a lime concrete, and 1 up right diagonally. Take the original lime and place a red concrete to the left, down, left, down by 2, 1, 2. Fill the cherry, this is a cherry, I think it's either a cherry, yeah, it's cherries or an apple, and then fill the rest of the area in with light grey. So you fill all of the red part in with red, and the rest of it in with light grey. And you should be left with something that should look exactly like this. Perfect. Now once you have done that, the only thing left to do is to fill all of the rest of the cubes in. You can do this in one of 2 ways, ladies and gentlemen. You can either fill them all in with light grey, which is what I'm doing, I only want the fronts to have pictures, or you can fill all of the sides in with pictures as well. You can recycle the same 4 pictures quite successfully. I wouldn't, I'd just fill them in with light grey, but you can if you want. You could make them very, very colourful. The original versions aren't even that colourful themselves. They're kind of like made out of greys. But I thought that was a bit boring. I mean, it's a little bit too dull for me. So that's why I made them out of colour. So you might choose to, you know, maybe just not have them, or you might choose to alter them in some sort of way, shape or form. It's completely up to you. But this is what I'm going to be doing for the next like 5 minutes, is filling all of these in using light grey. However, the entire babycorp is actually done. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to fill them in with the light grey concrete. It's the last step. I'm sure you guys will do it without me, no problem. I'm going to fill them in, and I'll show you what this whole thing looks like once it has been completed, because we're pretty much done, guys. So this is what babycorp should look like once it's been 100% fully completed. All I've done literally is filled in those last 2 cubes. I've pretty much just cleared up the floor, and that's it. That is babycorp done, and I'm hoping that you guys will very soon be in the same position as I am. Now, if you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like it. It really helps me out. I'd really appreciate that so much. Thank you so much to those of you that do like the video. It helps me out loads. If you want to see my future content, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you would like to make anything else by me, and this is just an example here, we have the Boss Baby house. This is where he lives, the Templeton household. And there's even a tree house in the back garden right there too, which has a separate tutorial. Both of those can be found in the card system and the description below. And if you just take a quick look around, we have all sorts of cartoon, movie, and game-related builds I'm sure that you guys might want to check out. If you're a fan of SpongeBob, which I'm hoping that you guys are, everybody should be a fan of SpongeBob. We've got a whole host of builds, so you might want to check those out in the card system and the description below. And that is absolutely everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. I do appreciate all of you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye! And this video's subscriber shoutout goes to Rags G, who left a pretty decent joke. Not bad. I can't lie, it's not a bad one. He left a joke on my recent video. Why did the credit card go to jail? It was guilty as charged. Might not be the best joke, but I did have a little bit of a chuckle when I first read it. Plus, he's got this really cute avatar of a dog, which I'm quite a fan of. And he just seems like a pretty nice guy. So thank you so much, Rags G, for leaving all sorts of nice comments on my video. I really do appreciate you, and everybody like you. And thank you so much, guys, for leaving nice comments on my videos and for leaving jokes on my videos. I always like to, have a little bit of a chuckle as I go through my comments, and I appreciate it. If you'd like to check out Rags G's channel, I don't know if he has any videos, any series videos, but you can check that out in the description below. I'll be leaving a link down there. You'll very easily be able to find it. And that is pretty much everything. I hope that you guys continue liking the video, subscribing, clicking the little bell, commenting nice things, and it might not have been you getting a shout out this time, but hey, it might be you next time. Get a cute avatar of a dog. That always seems to help. I always get attracted to that. I don't know why. There's just something about cute animals and avatars. I can't help it. Bye!